Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Natural Food Pantry Education Series. I'm here with some very special guests today, Dr. Gifford Jones and his daughter, Diana Gifford Jones, who are here to share their knowledge about health, longevity, and disease prevention. Dr. Gifford Jones MD is a graduate of the University of Toronto and Harvard Medical School. He trained in general surgery at Strong Memorial Hospital, University of Rochester, Montreal General Hospital, McGill University, and gynecology at Harvard. His storied medical career began as a general practitioner, ship's surgeon, and a hotel doctor. For more than 40 years, he specialized in gynecology, devoting his practice to the formative issues of women's health. In 1975, he launched his weekly medical column that has been published by national and local Canadian and U.S. newspapers. Today, the readership remains over 7 million. His advice contains a solid dose of common sense, and he never sits on the fence with controversial issues. He is the author of 9 books, including Medical Survival, his autobiography, You're Going to Do What? What I Learned as a Medical Journalist, and his latest book, 90 Plus, How I Got There. Many years ago, he was successful in a fight to legalize heroin to help ease the pain of terminal cancer patients. His foundation at that time donated $500,000 to establish the Gifford Jones Professorship in Pain Control and Palliative Care at the University of Toronto Medical School. At 93 years of age, he rappelled from the top of Toronto's City Hall to raise funds for children with a life-threatening disease through Make-A-Wish Foundation. He is married to Susan and has 4 children and 12 grandchildren, and will be turning a healthy 97 years of age at the end of February. Joining him today is his daughter, Diana Gifford Jones. Diana has extensive global experience in health and healthcare policy. She is a special advisor with the Aga Khan University, which operates numerous hospitals, medical centers, pharmacies, and laboratories in South Asia and Africa. She worked for 10 years in the human development sectors at the World Bank, including health policy and economics, nutrition, and population health. She has a master's degree in public policy at Harvard University and extensive experience with Canadian universities, including Carleton University, where she was the executive director of the Global Academy. Diana lived and worked in Japan for 4 years and speaks Japanese fluently. She has recently published a book on the natural health philosophy of Dr. Gifford Jones called No Nonsense Health Naturally. Together, this dynamic father-daughter duo is here to share their work and educate us on an extremely reputable and important supplement called Medi C+. Warm welcome, Dr. Gifford Jones and Diana Gifford Jones. It is such an honor to have you here with us at Natural Food Pantry. Dr. Giff, I know you're quite the icon in our industry, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to share with our viewers. I hear that you've had some experiences right here in our hometown, Ottawa.
We've had one quite memorable experience, and I think maybe Diana, since you were part of it, you should tell everyone about it.
I think I was about 11 years old, Dad, when you loaded me in the car along with 3 gargantuan garbage bags full of letters from the campaign that you led for the legalization of heroin for terminal cancer pain. And you invited your readers to write in, and boy, did they ever write in. And we arrived on the front steps of the Parliament buildings. We could drive right up in those days, and we unloaded the car full of these bags of garbage loaded with letters, and walked into the Minister of Health's office, Monique Bejean at the time, and presented her with these letters. And it was quite an education for me in how to make change.
And I think she was quite surprised to see us.
Well, I did.
We had 40,000 letters, Diana, from that campaign, and you may recall we had an open convertible, and we had all those bags in the back of the car.
Strapped down, I remember. And I bumped into Monique Bejean years later and asked if she remembered, and she said, "Oh, I remember your father." Yeah, it was wonderful.
I don't think he was too amused.
I get the impression that your dad makes quite the impression on people, and is not one to forget. That's for sure.
You know, he's led a life of driving forward really important issues, and this is what I think your viewers who know him will recall most, these amazing campaigns he's led on pain management, on common sense approaches to health, on natural health, first as an option for people that often isn't explained to them in the doctor's office.
You may recall, Diana, that it took us five long years to legalize heroin, and that was quite it was a really tough fight, and we were also criticized by the Canadian Mounted Police, by the medical profession, and by a lot of critics who thought that we should not have heroin available, that morphine was just as good. And, a third-year medical student could tell you that's not true.
Wow, 5-year long process. That's amazing. I know you have many, many more stories that you could share. And I understand that you're incredibly passionate and knowledgeable about the use of vitamin C in protecting specifically against heart disease. This is one of your big passions and focuses. How did this passion come to be?
Well, I suppose, Natasha, if your life has been saved by something, you're very passionate about it. And I had a heart attack when I was 74. I was told it was a serious heart attack, and I nearly died. And I was told by all of my cardiologists that if I didn't take cholesterol-lowering medication, I'd be dead in a couple of years. And I had read a lot about the problems of cholesterol-lowering drugs, but more importantly, I had interviewed Dr. Linus Pauling several years earlier, and I decided to take his advice rather than the advice of my cardiologist, who I might say, I'm alive in my 97th year now, and the one that gave me advice, they're all dead.
Wow.
That's why I'm very passionate about vitamin C in high doses. And I interviewed Pauling, as I say, on 2 occasions, a Nobel Prize winner, the only person who really has had two Nobel Prizes. And he told me at the time that vitamin C was people were lacking in vitamin C, and this was causing the epidemic of cardiovascular disease. He also told me something which my esteemed Harvard professors hadn't told me, that animals all make vitamin C with the exception of the guinea pig and the fruit fly. And your dog, for instance, will make 5,000 milligrams a day automatically, and if it's in a fight or gets annoyed with the next door neighbor's dog, is injured, it will make 20 or 30,000 milligrams a day. And here we are told all we need is 90 milligrams a day. That's a great lie.
Wow. So I imagine it's this research and these discoveries that led you to develop Medi C Plus, which I understand is for those who are at high risk of cardiovascular disease. Now, for those who are not that familiar with the product, can you tell us a little bit about the product, why lysine has been added to the vitamin C, and who would benefit from taking Medi C Plus?
Yes, there's a great misconception that a little bit is okay for you, but it's not enough. Medi C Plus contains a high dose of vitamin C, and vitamin C keeps the arteries open. And lysine is like adding steel rods to cement. It makes the steel rods stronger. And by adding it to the vitamin C, it makes the arterial walls stronger. So they won't break during when you get excited or your blood pressure goes up. Your arterial wall will remain strong, and you won't have it burst and cause a stroke. It's the combination that is very, very important.
How much do you take a day?
I've been taking 10,000 milligrams a day for 23 years. And I take in divided doses because vitamin C is water soluble. So that every time you urinate, you lose a little bit. So that's why you should take it 3 times a day. And the one thing that your listeners would have to realize, that if you take 10,000 milligrams all at once, you're going to develop diarrhea, bowel problems. So you have to up the dose, gradually. And everyone has a bowel tolerance. My tolerance is 10,000 a day. For other people, it may be 4,000 or 6,000. But and of course, when you reach bowel tolerance, you just back it down a bit. Take less.
So work your way up to bowel tolerance, and then when you discover what your bowel tolerance level is, back it down just a tiny bit and stay at that dose for prevention.
It's always good to work yourself from the low dose, regardless of what you're taking, and that saves a lot of problems.
I imagine people can do this not only for preventing heart disease, but for boosting immunity, especially during these times. There's so many important roles that vitamin C play in our health.
Yes. All the way from keeping your gums solid, and so your teeth don't fall out.
Right. Well, I think I'm going to be upping my dose. I currently take only 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day. So, especially being that it's flu season, it's winter time. Yeah, you've inspired me to increase my dose.
Take 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. That's the message.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much. And Diana, I know it's so great that you're working together with your dad to continue his work. Your career in global health and public policy adds new perspectives to his work, to his visions. Can you share your plans for the future?
Well, I feel just so honored to have this opportunity, and I will be continuing to advance my father's work. He's been so important in helping Canadians understand in an easy to digest kind of format, a 600-word column every week, communicating information about common sense health, well-being, and I hope to add a little bit of my own perspective around the determinants of health. Everything from the importance of public policies that promote employment opportunities to smart city design, healthy food systems, the elimination of gender bias in healthcare and things like that. People who have a message know this popular quote that there's a simple rule: you say it again, you say it again, and you say it again, and you say it again, and again, and again, and again. And about the time that you're absolutely sick of saying it, that's the time your target audience has heard it for the first time. And this has been the kind of attitude my father has taken in promoting his message over the years, that you have to say it not once, not twice, but keep on telling people that it's important to make smart decisions every day, start early, explore natural options first, which are safe and harmless, and see the doctor when you need a serious medical issue addressed.
Right.
So I'm excited and I'm glad to be a part of this.
It reminds me, Diana, of the professor who came to the class at the Harvard Medical School one morning and looked up at the class and said, "I'm sorry, but I have to repeat this lecture again today because last time nobody listened."
That's right. So, this is a great partnership, Natasha, for us. We are enjoying it a great deal, of course, as a father-daughter team. But I really very much hope that this W. Gifford Jones brand, if I can call it that, will continue for many, many, many years ahead as a hallmark of no-nonsense health, common sense health. We think we can do that, and I look forward to working with you and everybody else in the industry to make it happen.
Diana is a great liability to me, but she's also a problem because sometimes it says, "Giff, you can't say that." She keeps me in line.
My father's been controversial. There's no doubt about it. He's been controversial, and I think that's partially, what makes him so popular. But if you dig deep into the controversies, you can actually learn an awful lot. And I think my dad has done a really good job over the years of presenting both sides of the story and inviting, consumers to make their own decisions about what they do with their own health. And that's an important message, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really appreciate your your vision, your mission to share, to educate people, to inspire people. I share the same passion, leading the education initiative here at Natural Food Pantry. Our goal is to keep educating people. People tend to make changes when they're informed, when they understand the why behind it, right? So the common sense approach is, I think, incredibly critical and important, and we definitely have to go back to common sense from time to time. People are so reliant on research and proof and evidence, but listening to our own internal cues and what just simply makes sense is incredibly important and valuable as well. So I love that you bring both to the table, the common sense, sort of intuitive, instinctual approach combined with the science and the research and the evidence. It's amazing. Amazing.
The problem, Natasha, is common sense has become a very uncommon commodity.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
And I'd like to add too that if you look at the last 50, 60 years, when my father was coming out of medical school and practicing medicine, there was such an open opportunity for doctors to take the initiative to imagine what might be the right cure and to test their ideas and to do that in an environment where the doctor was deemed the expert. Nowadays, you've got so much regulation in society, number one, which is a good thing, I think. But in addition to that, you have a sort of a mantra or a environment in which business and large investors with a lot of money are having much louder voices than individual doctors can have. And then certainly, natural health industry. So one of the things I think that we're trying to do here is give voice to the natural health industry, which does indeed have research backing the products that are on the market. You can't put a product on the market without the regulatory bodies approving it and so on. But there's no massive multi-million-dollar campaign behind the marketing of these products vis-a-vis what goes into the pharmaceutical products that are on the market. So that's a major sort of glitch in our system, I think, that needs to be addressed. And we need to find a way of giving equal voice to both the industry that is promoting natural solutions and the industry that is promoting pharmaceutical solutions.
Natasha, no one who ever goes into a health food store is going to die. But we know that thousands and thousands of people die from prescription medication year after year. And it's doing their bodies a lot of harm. Of course, we need the insulin and drugs of that kind, but too many people have developed colitis. They want a damn pill for every ache and pain that they have, and it's really the wrong approach, and largely produced by the television industry.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we could go on about this. That does lead me to my final question for you, Dr. Gifford. And that is, you are such an inspiration for our community. And being that you're turning 97 at the end of this month, at the end of February, and in such great health, will you share with us your top secrets for longevity success?
Well, being 97, I never thought I would reach that age, but I hope that it's been, maybe it has helped me be a little wiser. But now I've got a very smart daughter to keep me in line and keep it going.
And what do you do to stay healthy?
The secret to my father's longevity. Yeah, well, tell them about the secret to your longevity, Dad.
Well, I guess my longevity is the fact that I was luckily born with parents who were elderly, so the genes were a factor. But it's been really a good lifestyle, and the secret of longevity is starting at an early age to do the right things. Exercise, the right food, etc., etc. We all know what we should do, and as I've told patients who don't follow that rule, that if you keep going to hell, you'll eventually get there. And so many people are unfortunately getting there these days with not with infectious disease, but with degenerative disease, heart disease, strokes, hypertension, and so forth. That's what's killing people. And they're terrible disasters these days on television with the COVID virus. But you tend to forget that there are hundreds of thousands of people that die every year from degenerative disease that shouldn't happen. And if they took more natural remedies than the prescription drugs, that would be one feature of the equation. So it's a simple answer. Getting people to follow it is the other answer, and it's tough.
Yeah, I hear you. So to sum it up, healthy diet and lifestyle, choosing natural remedies whenever possible. What about stress? I get the impression that you're a pretty laid back personality. Would you say that stress is a huge contributing factor to these degenerative diseases?
I don't stay awake at night worrying about things, but there's not a lot. There's not a lot of stress in my life because I've got a wonderful wife. I've had 4 wonderful children, and I've got 12 great grandchildren. So that my life has been full, and I'm going to try to reach to 100. I don't know how we're doing it. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm going to go down fighting it. And I'm going to take a lot of vitamin C, of course. That's one of the things. Vitamin C and lysine with Medi C. I think that's what kept me alive. So take your scoops of Medi C every day, 3 times a day, and that's a big, I'm convinced it's the one big factor that has gotten me to my 97th year.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to celebrating your 100th birthday with you.
Hell of a party.
We'll have a big party then.
Yes, hopefully COVID will be over and we can celebrate in person. Well, amazing. Thank you both so much for joining me today to share your passion and your knowledge. I have no doubt that this will inspire people to make healthier choices for themselves moving forward.
Great pleasure being with you.
My pleasure as well. Stay healthy, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, for following our education series. For more information, visit medi-c.ca, docgift.com, and naturalfoodpantry.ca, or pop into one of our 5 store locations to speak with a supplement advisor. Please be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you, everybody. Stay healthy.